40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the misfield.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to technically the first episode of the Ian Fritts show. Now, we've rebranded a little bit here. Was top 25 and 25. Now we're going to something a little different. We're going to the Ian Fritts show. Now, why are we doing this? Ian, top 25 and 25 was a smash hit. It was the most successful show in YouTube history in the first 2 weeks of being in existence. And, while those things may or may not be true, don't want to, brag about it or anything, but top 25 and 25 was a little, that's all top 25 and 25 was. It was that. It was top 25 and 25. The name made sense, didn't it? However, we want to go into a different route here at the Ian Fritts show. We want to expand. We want to talk about maybe not only every top 25 game, maybe just a couple games in the top 25, maybe a couple games not in the top 25. Maybe we want to talk about something that's happening in the NFL. Maybe we'll want to talk about something in the soccer world. Who knows? But for now, it's a college football show because college football is king right now. That's what's happening. College football's king. So we're going to talk about college football in the Ian Fritts show right now. Maybe it'll be up there. I don't know. But we're doing college football right now. As you guys know, Week 4 just happened yesterday. This is a Sunday. I'm recapping it right now. Here we go. Week 4 was a blast. If you guys didn't watch any of the games, you should have watched the games. Also, side note, see this guy right here? We are on a tripod now. We are no longer on a coat rack. We are no longer taped to a coat rack. You do a name change, you do a rebrand, you also upgrade equipment. And that's what's happening here at the Ian Fritts show. We're ranking up in the world, we're moving, and we're grooving, okay? Back to Week 4, recap. A lot happened in Week 4. Lots of cool games, lots of fun games, lots of exciting things to talk about. A lot of movement in the college football world, okay? So let's get into it. Let's go over my picks. Let's go over which ones did well, which ones didn't do well, okay? We'll go through that real quick. I'm not going to go through, breakdown of every game anymore in 25 minutes. One, because that's not the show anymore. The show is the Ian Fritts show, and I'm just going to talk about what I want to talk about, okay? And that's what's going to happen. Secondly, we're talking about the picks right now. Here we go. Okay, so Week 4, what was our record? Coming off a bad week. I got the suit back on, not because we did a losing week, but because, it looks pretty good. This is a professional system we got going on at the Ian Fritts show. We got a tripod, we got a suit on. Let's move and groove. Professional, okay? Week 4 recap. Week 4 record was 9-8. Now, if you may recall, we picked more than 17 games, which is 9 plus 7 equals 17. So we did more than 17 games. However, our record was 9-8 because there were several pushes, okay, which means the number hit right on the line. So if it was -3, the team won by 3. So not a win, not a loss. Let's get in it. The locks were 2-1. Best week of the locks so far. Let's go, baby. Moving on. Name change happens. We win. We win when the name change happens. That's what happens here. We move and we groove. That's a new saying. Locks were 2-1. Overall was 9-8. The overall record here, through 3 weeks of doing this, I know it's Week 4, but I missed out on the first week. Through 3 weeks of doing this, we're 34 and 29.5. Now, if you remember that half game, some say that's a little controversial. Not here at the Ian Fritts show. That's just the standard. 34 and 29.5 is the record. Okay, we're doing pretty well for ourselves there, but the record's not all that matters. But I like to win, and we're winning. But let's get into some of the picks that were, some of the picks that weren't. If they were bad. All right, Georgia UAB. Rare mascot, rare win. And whoa, ladies and gentlemen, I have made a mistake. That happens. We're humans. I'm a human. I know some of you may be saying, but you don't make mistakes, Ian. I do, and I did. I actually tallied the loss. I thought I picked Georgia. To cover the 42, but, looking back on that, I was like, whoa. Rare mascot equals rare win. The UAB I actually got that wrong. It's the Defenders, not the Dragons, even though their dragon is the mascot. So the UAB Dragons / Defenders. That was a rare mascot equals rare win pick. So I got to change that right here. We actually got a green on that. Green is good. So we actually won that. Let's go. That's a surprise to me. So we were actually 10-7. If I do that math, yeah, 10-7. Hey, look at us, guys. Let's go, baby. That would make our overall record now 35-28.5. So 6.5 games above 500, pretty good. We're rolling and we're moving. Okay. Week 4 record 10-8. Correction. So earlier in the video it's gonna say 9-8. Now it's gonna say 10-8. Week 4 record 10-7. Woo! Gotta take a sip. 10-7 record 35-28.5. Let's get into another one. Michigan Rutgers -24. We had Rutgers on this one, guys. We had Rutgers. And Michigan won by exactly 24. So, as I mentioned earlier, that's a push. Not a win, not a loss. Mark it down as a yellow. Texas at Baylor, -15. Okay. Ian was wrong on this one. He was wrong. And he should be punished for it. So, not a great pick from Ian, which is me. Not a great pick. I messed up on this one. I did. I thought this was a game where Texas was going to stumble and they were going to, trip and drag their feet along in this game because they weren't going to care as much, and they didn't. They handed Baylor an L, a big time L, big fat L. They handed it to them. Okay, so that's a loss from us. Florida State at Clemson -2.5. We won this one. We were all over this one. Close game, went to overtime. We'll talk about it later in the show. Good game, win for us. USC Arizona State -35. What are you doing, Lincoln? What are you doing, Lincoln? Arizona State, one of the worst football teams in the country, and you let them hang around. This is just like your OU days. Back to OU. This is tough for everybody that thought you were going to do good here, okay? They won, but they didn't cover, which is tough for us. Loss. Ohio State, Notre Dame, push. We had Notre Dame -3. I thought they were going to win outright. I was wrong. Great game. We're going to talk about a lot about that game later in the show. Big time stuff from that game. Push, Penn State, Iowa, -14.5. Wasn't even close. Penn State double covered, which means if you add up the line twice, they cover it. We call it a double cover here at the Ian Fritts Show. New phrase, new word, new name. Here we go. Double cover by Penn State. Let's go, baby. Washington smoked Cal, put in their backups. Cal, got some points in the end, but cover from Washington. Good for us. Oregon, Colorado. What an absolute beatdown that was. We're not going to talk about that game. 1, because the game was kind of boring. And 2, because I don't really want to talk about it. Oregon beat down Colorado. We won that one. Utah, good for us. We're going to talk about that game because that's an entertaining game. Alabama, Ole Miss. We were wrong on this one. I switched this one live in the show last week. Tough for us. We're going to talk about a little bit about that game here in a little bit. LSU, Arkansas. Arkansas, good for you guys. Putting it on LSU in Death Valley. I was completely wrong on this one. 17.5, a lot of points. I should have known, boop. Relapse after LSU's greatest performance of their lifetime against Mississippi State, that they were going to relapse and, throw out a stinker against Arkansas. I should have known, and I should have, looked ahead to that. My bad, guys. Oklahoma at Cincy. Okay. Got to take a sip on this one because this one hurts. If any of you guys paid attention, to the lines or anything, when I did the show last week and did my picks, the line was 14.5, and I thought, OU's still going to cover. That's good for us. The line slowly moved to 13.5 all week. In fact, 14.5, it was there for one day. Of course, the one day that I'm doing the picks, I have it, 14.5. Wrong. They won by 14. It hurts a little bit, but, we'll move along. I'll still give credit to OU. They still won. Good for them. North Carolina, Pitt, 7.5. We won this game. Good for North Carolina. Duke, UConn. Woo! Duke! Let's go, baby! You guys are rolling! Rolling! Come on! I don't want to play Duke right now. If I'm any team in the country, I don't want to play Duke. And we got a big-time matchup next week with Duke and Notre Dame. Big time! Duke is rolling. Nobody's stopping them. Maybe Notre Dame. Maybe. I don't know. You'll have to tune into the preview show later on in the week. Duke is rolling. Good for them. They covered for us. Miami covered for us against Temple. Owls. Hoo-hoo. They lost, so doesn't really matter. Miami won. Go Hurricanes. Tennessee, UTSA sucked for us. Tennessee covered. Really was hoping the Road Runners would get it done. They didn't. Tough for us. Okay, Florida, Charlotte. Okay, all right. If any of you guys, I'm going to put this down so I don't accidentally stop the coverage here. Got to take a sip before I talk about Florida. Spilled a little bit there. Florida. Look, this is just a 1v1 talk between me and you right now. What are you doing? Okay? You go in, you absolutely dominate Tennessee last week. You absolutely dominate Tennessee, okay? Then you have Charlotte. Charlotte. Nobody even knew they had a football team. Charlotte comes into the swamp and you don't cover? You don't cover? What you got? You guys score one touchdown? One touchdown, Florida? Come on. Come on. You guys are better than that. Except you're not. You're not. That's who you are. Big time game against Tennessee. You're like, this is us. We're going to win. This is us. Championship. Let's go, baby. Wrong. Charlotte came in and handed it to you. You guys still won. I'll give it to you. But Charlotte's a nobody. You were supposed to dominate them. Just like you dominated Tennessee, and you didn't. Really hurts people like me in the business. Really hurts people like me, you know, who have to wear a suit on Sundays. Hurts people like me. Florida, hurts me. Not a go Gators today. Okay, those are the picks. Remember, 10-7 record this week. Big time stuff from us here at the Ian Fritts Show. Overall, we're 35-28.5. We're moving and we're grooving. Keep that phrase going. Okay, number 2 thing on the agenda. And yes, I have these papers here now. It says agenda because I'm professional. Soon we'll have a mic. We're getting there. You know, we're getting to places here. But right now, no mic. I'm yelling. We're giving out our Stud Muffin. That's what we're doing. We're giving out our Stud Muffin. If you recall, in the Week 4 preview, I had 3 guys to look out for to possibly become a certified Stud Muff. Okay? Excuse me. And that was Sam Hartman, Notre Dame QB, Jackson Dart, Ole Miss QB, and Cade Klubnik, Clemson QB. Now, if you watched any of the games yesterday, specifically if you watched those 3 games, you would know none of those guys deserved a Stud Muff. Okay? None of them deserved to become certified Stud Muffin. And they're not. However, I wanted somebody to become the first ever, the first in history to become a certified Stud Muffin. And looking at the games yesterday, there was one guy that stood out above the rest in his performance in a big-time game. That, guys, is Washington State quarterback Cameron Ward. Cameron, you should be watching this right now. Super prestigious award that you're about to get, okay? Yeah, another real muffin. I got crumbs falling. That's the crumble topping. There's a little crunchy topping on this muffin, okay? Big time muffin. Special muffin for you, Cameron Ward. Special muffin. Okay, before I package this thing up and send it to Cameron, let's talk a little bit about his numbers. They should be on your screen right now. Those numbers that you're looking at, okay, from Cameron, he should be silhouette right here. His number should be over here. Those numbers from good old Cameron. Through 3 quarters, those numbers. Through 3 quarters against Oregon State. Oregon State going into the game was the best defense in the Pac-12, numbers-wise. Best defense in the Pac-12 going into the game. Not anymore. If you look at the numbers this morning, those numbers are way long gone. Not even close to the top 1 in the Pac-12 at Oregon State. Because they let Washington State score 38 points in 3 quarters. Now, they buckled down. They buckled down and didn't let them do anything in the 4th quarter. So good for you, Oregon State. L, though, because you guys lost. Cameron Ward was the reason you lost. 2 plays into the game. Okay, so we got 1 play. I believe it was a pass, out route. Cameron Ward threw to his tight end wide receiver. Gain of 11 yards. Then we move along. 2nd play of the game. Cameron Ward, good for you, throws an absolute dime. 75-yard touchdown, 65-yard touchdown, an absolute bomb, absolute dime. Cameron Ward, 2 plays into the game. Washington State goes up 7-0. Cameron Ward, you deserve this muffin. You deserve it. Look at those numbers. Tell me he doesn't deserve it. You can't. This man balled out yesterday, and we look for people that ball out in big-time games. That's how you become a certified stud muff, okay? He wasn't even supposed to be here. He wasn't on my projected certified stud muffins, but he is, because he deserves it. Cameron Ward. Cameron Ward, you're getting a certified stud muffin. First one ever coming your way. Let's get it in a box. Real box. Cameron Ward, certified stud muffin. Your numbers, prove it. Let's put the muffin in a box. He's already showed me his address. He's already accepted it. First one going out. Big time award. First time certified stud muffin in the history of the Ian Fritts show. Cameron Ward, you're a lucky man. That's one good muffin you're getting. I had one earlier. They're fantastic. Okay? Cameron Ward, this is a historic moment here for the Ian Fritts show. Okay? Historic moment. Cameron Ward, that's going to be a trivia question in the future. Who was the first ever certified stud muffin? And people are going to be like, what, certified stud muffin? It's going to be trademarked by then. And I'm going to know it because it was my show. Is my show. Okay? Cameron Ward, certified stud muffin. You deserve it, man. Congratulations. Cameron Ward, certified stud muffin. Now let's talk about that game, Oregon State, Washington State, because this was a big-time game. Top 25 matchup. Got to take a sip here. We're moving right along. We're moving right along, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving right along, okay? Had to move that for later in the show. Oregon State, Washington State. I just told you about Cameron Ward. Something like 28 for 31, 320 yards, and 4 touchdowns through 3 quarters. The man dominated. The man dominated, and he absolutely deserved what he just got in the mail, okay? Now, Oregon State, you battled. You battled. I put out a tweet there on the Ian Fritts show Twitter channel, X channel, whatever you want to call it, at Ian Fritts Show, or at the Ian Fritts Show. It'll be down here. It'll be up there. It'll be somewhere. I put out a tweet, and I said, Washington State is absolutely dominating Oregon State right now. Cameron Ward, certified stud muffin, question mark? Well, we got that answer. However, after that tweet, Oregon State scored, I think, 21 straight points on Washington State. They came close to coming back and winning the game. They didn't. Good for you, Oregon State, in battling. But that home field advantage in Pullman, Washington, for Washington State, the Cougars, is no joke. It's no joke of a home field advantage. However, Washington State, are they for real? I don't know. We'll talk about it after I talk about the UCLA-Utah game. Let's talk about that game. In this game, there were only 7 offensive points scored by each team, okay? The second play of the game, maybe the first play of the game, I can't remember exactly. UCLA's on offense. Dante Moore, 5-star recruit. He battled, but he threw a pick 6 on the first play of the game. First or second play of the game, okay? Utah goes up 7-0. UCLA's struggling. They're battling to come back. Right after that, you know, you put yourself behind the 8 ball right away, Dante. Right away, Dante. Tough for UCLA. However, the game ended 14-7. You don't see that in college football anymore. Now, this shows me a couple of things. This can tell me a couple of things about this game. Number 1, the offenses were abysmal, okay? Or, number 2, the defenses are legit. And some of you might be thinking, well, duh, it's UCLA. The offenses, well, you would be thinking the offenses are fantastic. However, the defenses shined in this game. They've shined all year. The defenses are legit for UCLA and Utah. Let's get into a little bit of the numbers. Both teams, even with yesterday, now I know there wasn't offensive explosions all over the place. However, Utah, UCLA coming into the game, both of them, top 20 in total defense. Now, Chip Kelly, didn't really see that coming from Chip Kelly, but they held Utah to 7 points. Now, Cam Rising didn't play, and once Cam Rising comes back, I think Utah's going to get things going on offense a little bit more. You know, they're going to have their star quarterback back, and I think they're going to get things going a little bit. Utah, top 10 in yards per game allowed, okay? They're both top 10 in yards per game allowed. Holding people to little baby yards. Those defenses are big time. I think that had more to do with the low scoring game than the offenses, okay? Utah has only allowed 47 first downs the entire year. Now, that's third in the country. That's only one behind, tied for first. I believe it's Florida and another team tied for first with 46 first downs allowed. That's not a lot of first downs allowed, okay? That's a little over 10 per game. In college football, you move the ball, you get first downs. Not against Utah. Not against Utah, you don't. Utah, also, only allowing 20% of third downs conversions. Wow. 20%. That means, for those that aren't math nerds out there that can't do fractions, I'm about to help you. 20%, 1 in 5. That means, for every 5 third down attempts we have playing Utah, we only convert 1 of them. That is an absolutely bonkers stat. Utah's defense, legit. They are dominating. They're dominating whoever they play. Doesn't matter if you have 5-star quarterback Dante Moore. Doesn't matter. They're dominating. Good for Utah. Top 10 defense in college football. Now, this leads into a big question here, everybody. This leads into a big question. We've got 4 top teams in the Pac-12 right now. We've got USC, Oregon, Washington State, and Utah. Who is the best team in the Pac-12? Who's the best team in the Pac-12? You could make a case for all 4 of these teams. You could also make a case that all 4 of these teams are the 4th best team in the Pac-12. USC, offense, incredible. Caleb Williams, Heisman, could he win it again? Probably. Oregon, are they the most complete team in the Pac-12? Dominating offense, dominating defense. They struggled with Texas Tech, who's now 1-3, so that's a little asterisk. Washington State, they've won both of their big games. Both of their top 25 opponents they've beat, Wisconsin and now Oregon State. However, both of those games were in Pullman, Washington. Listen to this. This is wild. Washington State's next 3 biggest games at UCLA, at Oregon, and at Washington. Okay? If you heard that, all 3 of their biggest games against 3 big-time Pac-12 opponents, all ranked, by the way, all on the road. They don't get a single big-time game at home the rest of the year. The rest of the year, none. Now, I think they're a big-time team, but going on the road, especially at Autzen for Oregon and at Washington, those 2 games, because I think they're a better football team than Washington State, but Oregon and Washington, I don't know. I didn't even mention Washington. I'm a freaking idiot. Washington, who's the best team in the Pac-12? Washington, USC, Oregon, Washington State, Utah? Who knows? Is it Washington right now? I think it probably is. They're dominating both sides of the ball, except for when they put their backups in. We'll talk about it a little bit later in the what-if poll. I mean, who knows who the best team in the Pac-12 is right now? Is it Utah? Is it Utah if Cam Rising comes back? I don't know. You could convince me it is with that defense. Pac-12, absolutely. You want to watch the Pac-12 right now. Lots of things going on. Too bad they're not going to be a conference next year. Kind of sucks because they're pretty fun to watch this year. Let's get into the next game. Ole Miss, Alabama. Got to keep this one a little short. Bama's defense still legit. They can still ball out, and they still do ball out. Now, Jackson Dart, you were projected to maybe possibly become a certified stud muff, okay? And you didn't. You had opportunities to, but you didn't take them and capitalize. There was the particular play that I'm thinking about. Maybe I'll clip a video if I can find it and put it up there for you guys to see. Ole Miss is driving down the field late in the 4th quarter. 4 minutes left in the game, 3 minutes left in the game. They're down by 14. They haven't really been able to do anything the second half, Ole Miss. Then they're driving. Jackson Dart's back in the pocket. Throws it. Wide open receiver in the end zone. I mean, just busted assignment by Bama's stout defense that really balled out yesterday. Busted assignment. Overthrows him by like 5 yards. It was really hard to watch. He didn't get it done when it counted. And, was Bama the better team yesterday? Yeah, they were. And they deserved to win. So Jackson Dart kind of sucks a little bit. Bama won. Bama defense dominated. Jalen Milroe, let's talk about him for a second. Okay, he can do 2 things. He can run. He can run really well. And he can throw it deep. He can. He has a good deep ball. Woo! He can launch the ball, ladies and gentlemen. He throws it deep, and he throws it somewhat accurately for his deep ball. And that's all Alabama needs. They have established the run now with Jace McClellan. They've established the run. And if they can get that quarterback run game going a little bit more and just throw it deep off play action, Alabama can win every game on their schedule. They can because of that defense and a little PA, throw it deep action. Alabama, kind of a little bit scary if they did that more often. Next game, Florida State Clemson. Got to take a sip here. What's crazy is, ladies and gentlemen, the show would have been ending at this time last week. We're 25 minutes in. But it's not, because it's not the top 25 and 25 anymore. It's the What If show. It's not the What If show. It's the Ian Fritts show with the What If poll later in the show. Florida State Clemson. Talk about this one for a second. Florida State never led the game in regulation, okay? This was a team, Florida State, that I had in the national championship as of 2 weeks ago. I had them in the Natty. They're not in the Natty anymore. You guys know this. Didn't lead at all in regulation? That's absurd. That's absurd. I know it's Clemson. I know it's Death Valley over there. A couple Death Valleys in college football. This is ridiculous. Come on. Somebody needs to own it. Overtime game. Clemson might have won the game if they had a kicker. If they didn't have to go to a backup kicker, they might have won the game. Tough. However, they didn't win. Florida State battled, and they won on the road in a tougher environment. I commend them for that. Baby claps. However, some people going into this game were thinking Florida State's all their team, their whole roster's the transfer portal. Clemson, Dabo doesn't like the transfer portal. Doesn't even touch it. Doesn't even dip into it. Maybe like you dip an Oreo into milk. Dabo's just scarfing down Oreos. Not even dipping. He's just swallowing Oreos whole. Come on, Dabo. A lot of people were saying Clemson. Looking back at this game, Clemson doesn't have the players to win. They don't have the players to win. Clemson doesn't have the players to win. Get out of here with that garbage, okay? Clemson easily could have won this game. Dabo, keep swallowing them Oreos whole because you don't need to dip them in the milk. You don't need to. You have the talent. You can do it. Keep swallowing those Oreos whole. Florida State won, though. However, I mean, Clemson's played two tough opponents, Florida State and Duke. Have you guys seen what Duke's doing right now in college football world? They beat UConn by like 48 yesterday. Absolutely. They double covered, I believe. They're absolutely smoking people. I think Duke's a legit football team. Legit football team. Clemson has two legit losses. Like, tough. It's not because Dabo's not dipping his Oreos in the milk. Okay, get out of here with that. Duke's a good football team. Florida State's a good football team. It's not because he didn't have transfer portal players. Could they help? Yeah, but he's not losing because of that. Get out of here with that. Okay? Well, I actually threw two down. I need this one. Sorry about that. Next game, biggest game of the weekend, number 6 versus number 9. Notre Dame, Ohio State. Let's talk about it. Couple things I want to say. Neither quarterback played well. And some of you might be thinking, Kyle McCord led that game-winning drive. He did, but he didn't play good. Let's look at his numbers. 56% passing for 240 yards and no touchdowns. 56, one of two? Are you kidding? That's horrible. I'm not saying he played horrible because he did lead a game-winning drive. You are right about that. However, he did not play good. He didn't play good. He played, I'd say, a little less than good. Hartman didn't play good either. He was, he could have been a certified stud muff, but not with his performance. 68% passing, 175 yards, and 1 touchdown. It was not good from the quarterbacks yesterday. It was not good. Part of that, I think, is because the defensive lines were big time. The defensive lines, in the passing game especially, they disrupted the quarterbacks. They disrupted their timing. Defensive lines for Ohio State and Notre Dame are big time. Jean-Baptiste for Notre Dame used to be at Ohio State. Jean-Baptiste, he played lights out yesterday. Sucks they didn't get a win against his former team. Ohio State has a whole bunch of dudes on the front line. They dominated. They played well. Defensive backs were shutting people down. No wide receivers were just wide open the whole game. Egbuka had a good game. He had a nice game, but he was because Notre Dame had their lockdown corner on Marvin Harrison the whole game. Marvin Harrison didn't do anything. You heard his name twice, 3 times in the whole game. One of them was because he got injured. Okay? Sucks for Harrison. I mean, he's still a legit wide receiver, but that cornerback from Notre Dame, big time. Big time to lock him down like this. Okay? Another thing, Ohio State ran the ball for 27 times for 126 yards. Now, If you do the math on that, that's 4.7 yards a carry. Pretty good. Pretty good. However, they did not run the ball that good, okay? Let's take out. We're removing Travion Henderson's 61-yard touchdown run. You do the math on this, ladies and gentlemen. And that 61-yard touch from Travion Henderson, missed tackle from Notre Dame. If you're watching the broadcast, you know. 45 missed tackles on the year from Notre Dame. That's horrible. That's horrible. Honestly, the fact that they can miss all these tackles and still hang in games and still win, it's impressive. It's impressive. You take out that 61-yard touchdown run, Ohio State averaged 2.5 yards a carry. That's horrible. Notre Dame's defense, they were stopping the run except for one play, and that lost them the game. Tough. Notre Dame ran the ball pretty well in the second half. 176 yards total. Most of that was in the second half. 4.5 yards a carry. They were moving the ball in the run game in the second half. However, like I said earlier, the defenses dominated this game. The defensive lines, the linebackers, everybody was flying around that field defensively for both teams last night. Made it extremely compelling to watch. You know, we don't get those lower scoring games all the time in college football now. That was a fun game to watch, especially when Notre Dame started moving the ball. Ohio State couldn't get anything going. They're stuck in neutral. Except for that last drive, Kyle McCord did what he did. He kind of started getting it going. Maybe in second gear, they were moving it. They were moving down the field a little bit. Good for the defenses last night. Good for the defenses. Now, back to that final play. You know, is there an asterisk for this win for Ohio State? Some say so, not me. Some say so, not me. Okay? Some say so. One, because Notre Dame had 10 players on the field for that final play. Not an asterisk for me because they won the game fair and square. You know, good for you, Ohio State. Best win of the year. However, they had 10 players on that last play. That sucks. Would it have stopped them? Probably not. You had this far to go to score a touchdown. It wasn't that difficult. Last drive, though, good for you. Kyle McCord, you know, he kind of sucked all game except for that last drive. However, he kind of sucked on that last drive for a couple throws as well, a couple plays. You remember that 3rd and 19 completion to Igbuka to get down to the half-yard line? Shouldn't have even happened. Kyle McCord sitting back in the pocket. Threw it directly to Notre Dame. Right there. I can make that play. I can make that catch. I am superior athlete, but Notre Dame didn't make it. Really unfortunate because that was the game right there. That was the game on the line. Notre Dame had it. They won. Here was the win. The win was right there for Notre Dame. He dropped it. Hit the ground. Really unfortunate. Kyle McCord, though, then he did complete the 3rd and 19. So opportunities were given for him, and he took advantage of them. So while he didn't play great, he did what he needed to do. On the road, tough environment. Ohio State got the win on that 1-yard touchdown run as time expired. Good for Ohio State. Good for you guys. Instant classic of a game. I mean, that's one where you talk about what a game. What a game. It's 3-0 at halftime. Kind of slugfest. What's going on? Is anybody going to score anything? Also, side note, Notre Dame missed a field goal. That's the difference of the game as well. So, really fun game. I kind of want to see them play again. I want to see them play maybe in the playoffs, maybe in the national championship. I don't know. Notre Dame's got a big time game with Duke next week. Ohio State, good for you guys. Were those the best 2 teams in the country? Were they? Defensively, they might be top 2 defenses in the country. They might be because they were balling out. Okay? Hopefully we see them again. Instant classic of a game. That's the last paper, and some of you might be saying, well, then that's the last part of the show. Incorrect. As I alluded to earlier, the What If poll is coming up right now. Right now, the What If poll. Let's get into it. I'm going to have this fancy little graphic up here. Hopefully it looks good. Let me know if it does. Comment down below your favorite parts of the show. If you disagree with me, comment down below. Tweet at me. Let's have a dialogue. Have some conversation. Let's get it going. Ian Fritts show to the moon. All right, What If poll, week 5 coming up. Week 5. Who do we have in the What If poll? As you well know, 24 teams in the country get ranked in the What If poll. Not 25. Say it with me. There aren't 25 teams that deserve to be ranked. There's only 24. We got sun going behind a cloud right now, so it may be getting a little darker. 24th team in the country, the Kansas State Wildcats. They weren't ranked last week in the What If poll, so we're moving up. Boom. Number 23 team in the country in the What If poll, the Ole Miss Rebels. They're down 6 spots from 17 from last week. Why are they down 6? Well, they lost to Alabama, and they didn't look particularly competent on offense. Was that Alabama's defense because of that? A lot of the reason was because of Alabama's defense, yes. However, I'm dropping them 6. The what if poll's volatile. We go up and down, volatile. We want a lot of movement week to week because based on how teams play, especially this year in 2023, there should be a lot of movement in the polls, in the what if poll, because teams aren't playing the same each week. They're playing like the world beaters one week, and they go out and play like they're playing Charlotte. What are we doing? That's why there's a lot of movement. That's why you can move down 6 in the what if poll like nothing, like that. Boom. UCLA only moving down 1. Why? Because without that pick 6, it's a tie game against Utah. Big time team. Missouri. Up 1 for Missouri. Got to fix my graphic. It says up 5, but up there it'll say up 1. Missouri up 1. Like what they're doing. They're undefeated. Can't take anything away from that. Haven't lost. That's good for them. Kansas up from not ranked. I had them a couple weeks ago in the what if poll. I took them out. I put them back in. I like what Kansas is doing. They have a big time game on the road at Austin this week. Texas. Big time game from the Jayhawks. I really like the Jayhawk logo, by the way. All right, the Beavers. Let's talk about them. If you see that number next to the Beavers name right here, the Oregon State Beavers, they dropped 8 spots. Now, they lost to a pretty dang good team in the Washington State Cougars, but we dropped them 8 because it's the what if poll, and we can do what we want. What if? They kind of struggled except for the fourth quarter. They didn't play good. They were getting dominated. Okay, so we're dropping them 8. Miami, we're moving them up 1. Why? Because they haven't lost. They're playing well. They're playing good football, good team football. I like what the Hurricanes are doing. Alabama, we moved them up 5. You beat a ranked team, you're going to move up big time. You're going to move up. Alabama, beat a ranked team, we're moving them up. Number 17 in the country in the what if poll. LSU, beep, 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 beep. We're backing them up. Why? Struggled. Arkansas at home. Struggled. Big time struggle. Moving them down 3. Could they have dropped more? They absolutely could have dropped more, but then I would have to move Alabama up more, Miami up more, and I didn't want to do that. Because I didn't think they deserved to be up that high. So right now, LSU 16. Moving on, top 15. Here we go. This is what everybody wants to know. Who's the 15th team in the country? This is what everybody's clawing at me for. What if poll? Number 15 team in the country. North Carolina didn't move at all. Up 0, down 0 as well. North Carolina, they're getting things done. Undefeated as well. They're getting things done on the road, hostile environment in Pitt. They got it done. Duke, Blue Devils. Here we go, baby. Up 2. Number 14 team in the country. I really like what the Duke Blue Devils are getting going down there. Okay? They are dominating people, both sides of the ball. They're running up scores. They're taking people to the bank. That doesn't make any sense. They're dominating. Plain and simple. Duke is dominating football right now. Up 2. Could have moved them up more, but I didn't. Washington State Cougars. Undefeated. 2 top 25 wins in the country. I believe most in the country. Now, there's only one team that's still ranked in that top 25. Wisconsin. Not ranked anymore. However, but at the time, 2 top 25 wins. Cougars are... Cameron Ward, legit dude. He got the first ever in the history of the show. First ever certified stud muffin. Cameron Ward. Cougars, number 13 team in the country. I got them right behind Utah. Right behind Utah, okay? Their defense is legit, ladies and gentlemen. Shocker to the world? No, it's not a shocker. They always have a good defense. Kyle Whittingham, keep doing what you're doing down there in Utah. Up there in Utah. I don't know. Okay, this one might shock you. Who got left out of the top 10? Who's right there knocking on the door of the top 10 in the what if poll? Prestigious stuff in the what if poll, by the way. Who's knocking right on the door? Boop. USC dropped them 9 spots. You must be thinking, Ian, did they lose? Who? I didn't even see USC play. That's because they play at midnight across the country. So nobody sees those games. But I dropped them 9. Why did I drop them 9? I dropped them 9 because they suck. They suck on the defense. Everybody knows this. I had Lincoln Riley as a football coach for 4 years. 5, whatever it was at OU. The defense is abysmal. Continues to be abysmal. I'm dropping them at 9 until they show any competency on that side of the ball. 11 team. Number 10. Let's get into it. Michigan Wolverines. I have a bone to pick with the AP poll. I'm just going to throw up number 9 there as well. Georgia, I dropped them 1 spot, okay? Michigan stayed there. I have Georgia 9 and Michigan 10. Why do I have them there? I have them in the top 10 because I think they're still really good football teams. However, they haven't played anybody. They haven't beaten anybody by a lot. They haven't dominated. Now, you might they have beaten teams by a lot. They haven't dominated. They haven't dominated, okay? Michigan not dominating like you should be. Georgia not dominating like you should be. AP poll continues to put Georgia at number 1. Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, ladies and gentlemen. You can't keep ranking teams based on what they've done in the past. Yes, they're defending 2-time national champions. I get it. They had a different quarterback, different OC. I don't want to hear about it anymore until they do something this year. They don't deserve it right now. What if poll get them down to number 9? Oregon, number 8, moving up 4 spots. They put a big old whooping on Colorado. Showed them who's boss. Colorado sucks for you guys. If you saw this, they're not even in the what if poll. I'm still talking about them though because of Dion. Anyways, Oregon absolutely dominated. Good for you guys. I'm moving them up 4. I like what I saw. Florida State up 0. Could I have dropped them? Yeah. Did I? No. That's all I want to say. Or OU, number 6 team in the country. Now, some of you might be saying, Ian, OU, number 6, are you serious? I am serious. I'm 100% serious. Why? 2nd defense in the country, 4th ranked offense in the country. You're saying, Ian, OU hasn't played anybody, okay? Georgia hasn't played anybody. Michigan hasn't played anybody. And yet they're number 1 and number 2 in the AP poll. OU's down at 15. OU has a better defense right now, scoring-wise, than Georgia. A better offense right now, scoring-wise, than Michigan and Georgia. And OU has a better strength of schedule. Better. Through 4 games. Michigan's played a bunch of nobodies. Georgia's played a bunch of nobodies, except for South Carolina. But South Carolina, not that good. That's why OU's number 6. Defense is dominating. They got a Buck Kiss Award-winning linebacker over there. Danny Stutzman. If you see this, Danny, keep balling out. You are dominating. That should be a national name right now, Danny Stutzman. Okay? OU at number 6. Don't come at me for it. They deserve it. Number 5 team in the country. Top 5. Here we go. Notre Dame, number 5 team in the country. Now, some of you might be saying, Ian, they have a loss. They don't deserve to be in the top 5. They have a loss. Well, they deserve it. I know they're ahead of some undefeated teams here. They deserve to be in the top 5. Why? Because they played arguably the best team in the country. We'll see if they're the number 1 team in the what-if poll. And some would say that they should have won the game last night. They choked it away a little bit. I'm one of those people. They choked it away. Number 5 team in the country. They deserve to be in the top 5. They're a legit football team, okay? Number 4 team in the country, Penn State. A lot of people aren't as high on Penn State as I am. I can say this sitting in my nice suit. I look good. Penn State is a legit football team. Their defense can play. Their offense can get it done. They deserve to be talked about. Okay? Number 3 team in the country, Texas. What are we doing here? Why are they number 3? I had them number 9 last week because of their performance against Wyoming. That's what I'm talking about. The volatility, the moving up and down. One here, you're weak. Over here, you're this week. That's what you can do in the what-if poll. Based on week to week, what are you doing for me? Are you doing what you need to do? Teams like Georgia, Michigan, or not? Teams like Texas, as of yesterday, are. They dominated Baylor. Up 6, top 3. One of the best wins in college football. Give it to them. Number 2 team in the country, the Washington Huskies. Now, they have a little red down 1 next to their name because I had them at number 1. I couldn't justify keeping them at number 1 in the what-if poll anymore. I couldn't justify it based on what we saw from them yesterday. Not based on what we saw from them. Based on what we saw from them, you could still say they're number 1. But based on what we saw from another team. Washington dominating offense and defense. Yes, I said defense. They let up a lot of points in the end of the game yesterday. I mean, you put in your scrubs, that's what happens, okay? They're dominating. Number 1 team in the country. Who saw this coming? Ohio State. Best win in the country by far on the road, 17-14. Defense is baller. Kyle McCord's going to get it figured out. They're the number 1 team in the country, moving up 5 spots in the what-if poll. Good for Ohio State. Really good for Ohio State. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the what-if poll for Week 5. That's the show for the Week 4 recap. I thought it was a pretty good show. You guys let me know. We're just under 45 minutes, just under 45. I don't know how long the show's going to be anymore. I don't have my timer anymore. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun. I'm enjoying myself, okay? That's the what if poll for Week 5. We're moving and we're grooving. Big things coming in the future for the Ian Fritts show. I'm going to be quite honest with you. We're going to have Cameron Ward on in the show later in the week if we can get him. If we can get him, I know, big ask, but we're going to try. And I have my people, I have my feelers out. We're reaching out. If anybody of you know Cameron Ward, get him on the show. Let's interview him. Let's talk about him. I mean, he just won the most prestigious award in media. The first ever certified stud muffin, Cameron Ward. End it with that. We'll see you guys in the Week 5 recap. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, comment down below. I interact with my comments. I didn't last week, busy. But I will this week. I'll talk back to you. Let's go. See you guys in the next one. I love you guys. Bye.